Since its debut in 1999, Nickelodeon has had such a big, long run with their hit of SpongeBob SquarePants. 5 years after his debut, he actually made his first big splash on the big screen as he and his dim-witted starfish pal go on a quest to retrieve King Neptune's crown and save Mr. Krabs and Bikini Bottom from mean old plankton. Prepare yourselves as I re-review the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. This is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Bah! So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome again to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. I'm the Big D, and this time around, I bring to you a re-review of the 2004 anime adventure comedy flick, The SpongeBob SquarePants Movie, released by Paramount along with Nickelodeon Movies. Directed by the series creator, the late great Stephen Hillenburg, who also co-wrote the film's story, with many of the people who worked on the show: Derek Drymon, Tim Hill, Kent Osborne, Aaron Springer, and Paul Tibbitt. This, of course, is based off of the series of the same name. This film features the numerous voices of the main cast, regular voice cast, including Tom Kenny, who voices the titular character, along with Bill Fagerbakke, Clancy Brown, Rodger Bumpass, and Mr. Lawrence. Plus others, but only briefly, though. They're joined by an all-star set that includes Alec Baldwin, Scarlett Johansson, and Jeffrey Tambor, with David Hasselhoff appearing in live-action form as himself. In the film, SpongeBob, along with Patrick, set out on a quest to Shell Sea to retrieve King Neptune's stolen crown, exonerate his boss, Mr. Krabs, defeat Plankton, and prove his manhood. The film was released on November 19th, 2004, just a few days after it made its premiere at Grauman's Chinese Theater. Apparently, Hillenburg accepted an offer for a film adaptation of this from Paramount in 2002, but after turning it down multiple times the previous year. But he assembled a team of the show's writing staff, aside from himself, as I mentioned, and structured the film as a mythical hero's journey that would bring SpongeBob and Patrick to the surface. Originally intended to be the series finale of the show, which this was after the series had ended 2 years prior, the film marked the last time Hillenburg was showrunner before Tibbitt took his place. And the film did very well and got good reviews and what have you. Let's get ready and get into the story. Mr. Krabs opens a second location of the Krusty Krab, the Krusty Krab 2, right next to the original. His fried cook, SpongeBob SquarePants, hopes to be promoted to manager of the new restaurant, but Krab instead selects his co-worker Squidward Tentacles, explaining to SpongeBob that he is a kid who is too immature to handle the position. That's why, says, to be a manager, you gotta be a man. Otherwise, they call it kidager. Well, depressed, SpongeBob goes to the Goofy Goober ice cream parlor, where he indulges himself with ice cream with his best friend Patrick Star, and wakes up the following morning with a hangover. Yeah, which they do get into all sorts of predicaments. Scarvanella ice cream. Yeah, it's like, waiter, oh, Mr. Waiter. And when he's like, why do I always get the nuts? Krabs' rival Plankton, owner of the Chum Bucket, initiates Plan Z in an attempt to attain the Krabby Patty secret formula and take over the world. He steals King Neptune's crown and sends it to Shell Sea and frames Krabs for the theft. Neptune confronts Krabs about a stolen crown and is convinced of Krabs' guilt when a hungover SpongeBob smears him. Yes, he really gets all and tells him he deserved the manager's job and what he said. Well, I am 100% man. Oh boy. Okay, now where was I? Now, recovering from his hangover, SpongeBob promises Neptune that he will retrieve the crown from Chelsea. Neptune freezes Krabs, telling SpongeBob to return in 10 days until Patrick argues it down to 6, or Krabs will be executed. Neptune's daughter Mindy encourages SpongeBob and Patrick, but warns them of dangers surrounding Chelsea, including the Cyclops, a monster who kidnaps sea creatures. SpongeBob and Patrick head for Chelsea in the Patty Wagon, a Krabby Patty shaped car stored underneath the restaurant. After the duo leave Bikini Bottom, Plankton steals the formula from the frozen crabs and uses it to sell Krabby Patties. He distributes free helmets with the Krabby Patties that brainwash customers into doing his bidding, subsequently taking over Bikini Bottom and hiring a hitman named Dennis to prevent SpongeBob and Patrick from returning with the crown. SpongeBob and Patrick encounter a hazardous trench, lose the paddy wagon, and contemplate giving up. Mindy, whom Patrick has a crush on, appears and encourages them by applying fake mustaches made of seaweed, convincing them that she has magically turned them from kids into men. Armed with newfound confidence, the two successfully traverse the trench and encounter Dennis on the other side. Of course, that was soon after they encounter a bunch of, well, tough guys and what have you, and, well, they didn't like, well, characters that blow bubbles around before, which of course that was before all this, you know. Let's see, where was I? Well, apparently Dennis was about to squash a duo with his boot, but is suddenly set on by a much larger boot belonging to the Cyclops, a human diver who abducts SpongeBob and Patrick. The duo are placed under a heat lamp by the Cyclops, learning that they have arrived in Chelsea, a gift shop selling dried sea creatures. Proud that they reach their destination, they shed tears just before getting dried up, which short circuit the lamp and activate the emergency sprinklers, reviving the two alongside the other dried sea creatures. While the sea creatures attack the Cyclops, SpongeBob and Patrick take the crown to the beach where David Hasselhoff offers them a ride home, but Dennis catches up with them and fights them on Hasselhoff's back, ultimately falling into the sea as Hasselhoff passes under a catamaran. Now for the ending, as always, you know the procedure. You got 5 seconds to stop this video at once. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below. If you've seen this movie already, please continue. Okay, you've been warned. Neptune arrives to execute Krabs, but SpongeBob and Patrick return with the crown just in time. Plankton drops a mind control helmet on Neptune and surrounds SpongeBob, Patrick, and Mindy with his army of slaves. SpongeBob, embracing the fact that he's accomplished so much despite being a kid, uses the power of rock and roll to play Goofy Goober Rock, which is a song that's playing to the to the music of Twisted Sister's "I Wanna Rock," freeing Neptune and the citizens of Bikini Bottom from Plankton's control. As Plankton is arrested by the police, Neptune unfreezes Krabs and the two make amends. Krabs then appoints SpongeBob as the manager of the Krusty Krab 2. End of story. So what did I think of the SpongeBob SquarePants movie? I've seen this several times and I really do think this is a fun film and it is absolutely hysterical. I just really do enjoy this. I mean, I like SpongeBob. I mostly like the early seasons and when I returned, it was okay, but I started losing interest in the show. But I still had respect for the character. I mean, sure, he's a little, yeah, at times, but still, you get what I'm saying. I hope. Anyway, the film did pretty well despite losing to National Treasure, which also opened the same day. It still did pretty well. Though it may not have come close to match up with other animated films that were out about this time that included Disney and Pixar's The Incredibles or Warner Bros.' The Polar Express, it was still a profitable bid for Paramount and Nickelodeon movies. The film went on to make $141 million worldwide on its $30 million budget. The reviews were pretty decent. The film sits at 68% on Rotten Tomatoes, where they say surreally goofy and entertaining for both children and their parents. Metacritic has a score 67. An audience's poll by cinema score gave it an average B plus, which that's fine with me. Roger Ebert wrote in the Chicago Sun-Times, gave this 3 out of 4 stars, calling it the good burger of animation, plopping us down inside a fast food war being fought by sponges, starfish, crabs, tiny plankton, and mighty King Neptune. Ed Park of the Village Voice wrote, no Pixar? No problem. An unstoppable good mood generator. The resolutely 2D film itself has more yucks than Shark Tale, which was also released the same year, and enough soul to swallow the Polar Express whole. Yep, it was just so incredible and what have you. Now, here's one. Carla Meyer of the San Francisco Chronicle wrote that the film retains the 2D charm of the hugely popular series itself, but adds a few tricks. A little 3D here, a little David Hasselhoff there. The series' appeal never lay in its visuals. However, SpongeBob endeared itself to kids and adults through sweetness and cleverness, also abundant here. And that's good in my view. Some reviewers praise Hasselhoff's appearance in the film. Jennifer Frey for the Washington Post wrote, getting to see the hairs of Hasselhoff's back and thighs and calves magnified exponentially is perhaps a bit creepy. Like the movie, it's all in good fun. And Cinema Blend founder Joshua Tyler called Hasselhoff's role the best movie cameo I've seen since Fred Savage stuck a joint in his crotch and played a clarinet to charm the resulting smoke like a snake. Wherever that came from. But anywho, I think this was really something. It had a lot of fun stuff, and it also went to have numerous things and stuff like that, including a video game, which on the home consoles was in a way close to similar to the the Battle for Bikini Bottom game, except it did have a new leveling system where you could upgrade your strength and your health, similar to what would be done in the Incredibles video game sequel, Rise of the Underminer. Given the fact they were both from the same developer, which was Heavy Iron Studios, released through THQ. There was also a Game Boy Advance version and was developed by WayForward Technologies, who also did some pretty cool games. Anyway, after this, there would be numerous sequels, but they were standalone films. Just over a decade after this, SpongeBob returned to the screen in the SpongeBob movie Sponge Out of Water. And then in the SpongeBob movie Sponge on the Run and the SpongeBob movie Search for SquarePants, which we got last year, which feels like a retread of this, but I'll get to that when I get to it. Okay? Please stand by. But of the whole, I found the SpongeBob SquarePants movie to be pretty darn entertaining, with its score from Gregor Narholz, which was really good, and also especially the live action bits with the pirates at the beginning and in between some bits of the film, which almost made it similar to, well, kind of made me feel like I was seeing a different take on what we had seen in another film years prior in the Muppet movie. Anyway, this film is absolutely a blast. I consider this to be probably the better of the SpongeBob films overall, but you don't have to take my word for it. You be the judge. It also had a pretty good soundtrack and what have you. Anyway, it had a lot of pretty good tunes and what have you. Including The Best Day Ever, which was sung by the voice of SpongeBob himself, Tom Kenny. He actually co-wrote the song. That song would later go on to be featured in an episode of SpongeBob, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he and the co-writer, this Andy Paley, were actually working on what would become the album "The Best Day Ever," as a matter of fact. which would be released 2 years later after this. So anyway, now that was pretty cool. The songs are pretty good and what have you. We even hear songs from artists like let's see, the Flaming Lips, Ween, and Wilco. Oh yeah, they'll. This was just so absolutely very very funny. Pretty good songs, and of course the Goofy Goober Rock, which of course used the music for the hit "I Wanna Rock" by Twisted Sister, which I've already mentioned. Of course, the story's pretty good in my view. I like that. I liked the animation, the craziness, and the zaniness. Let's see. For the voices, aside from Tom King, who of course voiced SpongeBob, as well as do the vocal effects for his pet Gary the Snail, and of course for the French narrator. Yeah, I bet you'd be surprised to know that I love doing that kind of voice. Let's see. While Jim Wise provides SpongeBob's singing voice on Goofy Goober Rock, Bill Fagerbakke takes on the role of Patrick. Of course, he sure is funny and what have you, and I certainly do like that. Clancy Brown, of course, voices Eugene Krabs, and Rodger Bumpass as Squidward Tentacles. Mr. Lawrence voices Plankton. Yes, you hear me, Krabs. When I discover your formula for Krabby Patties, I'll run you out of business. Yeah, that was just a line from his first appearance on the show. Okay, not the movie. You know what I'm saying? Alec Baldwin voiced Dennis. He was good. Scarlett Johansson as Princess Mindy, good. Jeffrey Tambor as King Neptune, pretty good. And of course, the cameo of David Hasselhoff himself. Yep, can't go wrong with that. We have Jill Talley voicing the computerized wife of Plankton's, Karen. And of course, we have brief voices appearances from Carolyn Lawrence as Sandy and Mary Jo Caitley as Mrs. Puff. And Lori Allen as Pearl Krabs, Mr. Krabs, Whale of a Darn, plus a lot of others. So anyway, I must admit, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie is definitely a fun-filled film. So if you're into some really hysterical fun bits, then I think you're gonna feel right at home with this. Or if you like the show, you're gonna love this movie. This is a film I'd say I would most definitely recommend. So that'll do it because I liked every bit of it. It was absolutely funny as heck. I loved it. So, what did you think of the SpongeBob SquarePants movie? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel, and you know the rest. Join me next time when I review the SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water. So, if you like this, consider checking out some of these other, films that were kind of in a way based on Nickelodeon properties. In the upper left-hand corner, you can check out my spoiler-free review of the Paramount Plus original in the form of Good Burger 2, follow-up to the cult classic from 1997 itself. Or go to the upper right-hand corner and check out my spoiler-free review of a recent Paramount Films title, of a film that was originally to come to theaters, but unfortunately due to the pandemic, sorry for bringing that word up, and check out my spoiler-free review of the animated film Rumble, which I do recall reviewing it. Or if you'd like maybe something else, another film based on a property of Nickelodeon's, check out my review of the Wild Thornberrys movie in the bottom left-hand corner. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya!